Hello, everyone. Welcome to this new section of the course where we will be talking about CSS animations and keyframes. Now, the way CSS animations and keyframes work is very simple. First, you have to define or create a CSS animation rule and name it any name you want. Second, you add this animation rule you created to any HTML element in the page so that the animation works on it. This will be much easier if we see it in action. So here in my HTML, I have this div all by itself, and I've added some styles to it in my CSS. I've just added a width, height, and a red background color. So when we view this in the browser, we can see our empty div is sitting right here. Now let's go back to our CSS and see how to use keyframes and animation on this div. So we said that the first thing we need to do is to define the animation rule. And in order to do that, we write it like this: @keyframes, then the animation name, let's say moving. And then inside of it, we use keywords like from and to. So I will say from and add transform, translate x, 0, and then to, transform, translate x, 1000 pixels. So what's going on here is we created an animation rule. And what this animation rule will do is it will take the element from one state to another. So it will take the element from translate x 0, meaning from its original position, to translate x 1000 pixels. Great. Now, if I go to the browser and reload my page, you can see nothing changed. The element is just sitting in its place and no movement has happened. And that is because we created the animation rule right here, but didn't tell the browser which element will receive this animation. So if you're familiar with any programming language, this is very similar to functions, where you create a block of code that should do something, and then you add that block of code to the elements you want that block of code to affect. So what we should do here is we should tell the browser what element this animation should work on. And this can be done easily by going to the element itself, which is the div. So there are two properties required to make the animation work on this element. The first is the animation name, which is moving. And the second is the animation duration, or how many seconds we want this animation to take from start to finish. Let's say 3 seconds. And now, when I go to the browser and reload, you can see that the div is now starting from translate x 0, in other words, from its original position, and moves to translate x 1000 pixels over a period of 3 seconds. And this is it for this lesson. That was an introduction to CSS animation and keyframes. We learned what they are and how they work, and in the next lessons, we will learn more properties that will give us further control when using CSS animations and keyframes. So, see you then.